4 p.m. Eastern. Everybody does not live on the East Coast of the United States. Anyways, it's going to be 80s hair bands month, and we're going to start with Motley Crue from Dr. Feelgood. This is Kickstart Your Heart. See you in about 4 minutes, and welcome, everyone. Welcome.
Look at us go! Check him out! Yeah! Look at Joyce! This is it! Back home, sweet home! Yeah! This is where it all began. Yeah! Should we go check it out? Let's go!
Yeah, baby, Kickstart My Heart. Written by none other than Nikki Sixx. He actually, I don't know if you remember, if you're a Crue fan, you probably did. You know how a lot of times celebrities, the news of their death is premature. Well, he actually technically did die for a few minutes for an overdose, and then Kickstarting My Heart is obviously he got mouth to mouth by Slash's girlfriend, no less, because he was partying with, I think he was partying with Slash and Axl. I'm not sure Axl's girlfriend was there, but I believe Slash's girlfriend was there, and she's the one who performed mouth to mouth and artificial resuscitation and CPR while they were waiting for the ambulance to get there, and probably saved his life. So, anyways, that's pretty cool. Anyways, but don't party with Axl and Slash. You might not make it. All right. Well, yeah, I just like Motley Crue. They're just so excess. They love each other. They hate each other. There was a quote by Vince Neil, which I didn't use, but it was kind of funny. He was talking about Tommy Lee, and he goes, yeah, we're like family, like brothers. Like, we fight, we hate each other, then we don't talk to each other for months, and then we see each other, and we're like, what the hell were we fighting about? And then, all made up. So it was kind of fun. Yeah, Lisa Marie in the house. Raw! Anyway. Oh, yeah, someday I'll do a show on this. It's pretty funny, the history of that, and a bunch of people. Like, there's a guy from the Scorpions who says he did it. There's a guy from Dio said he did it, and then there's other people too. And it's like, who cares? Anyway. But there's a lot of good quotes. So I'm only doing quotes from the four, what I consider Crue. I mean, there's a bunch of band members that people don't even know, like John Corabi did vocals. Actually, it's just, you can judge people by how they treat people. So the story of John Corabi is pretty sad. He replaced Vince Neil like from 92 to 96, probably 95-ish, because they actually did a weird thing where they brought Vince Neil back in after Vince Neil had 2 or 3 solo albums. He also did vocals on Steve Stevens' Atomic Plague Boys, one of my favorite albums of all time. If you don't know who Steve Stevens was, he still is. He was a guitarist for Billy Idol, but his solo albums are amazing. He was one of my favorite guitarists, the way he uses effects and everything. And then he has like this one album, it's flamenco guitar, but done like with an electric guitar. It's just fantabulous. Anyways, Vince Neil came back, and they kept on John Corabi, but they let him play guitar. And then they didn't tell him, and they kind of just phased him out. Like one day, he was the vocalist for like 4 years, touring with them and all that. He's on a couple of their albums in the middle, I think. And then all of a sudden, they got Vince back, and they were just kind of like, oh yeah, John, didn't we tell you you're not with the band anymore? So that was kind of bad. And then Randy Castillo, after they kicked out Tommy Lee for a while. Tommy Lee in '99, they just said, your antics are just getting too much. That's one of the reasons I love this band. So usually it's the front guy. So like the front guy in this band is Vince Neil. So it's the lead singer, the front guy, who's the wildest. But in this one, it's the drummer. You don't expect that from the drummer. So it was a competition between Tommy Lee and Vince Neil. But that's going to work. Anyways, Tommy Lee, he says he laughed. But if you read through the lines and look at all the interviews and stuff, I think he was kicked out. He was kicked out from 99 to, when did he come back? He came back in 04. So they had 2. They had Randy Castillo, who was a big session musician. He was with a lot of bands. And he was really, really good drummer. And then unfortunately he died in 2002. So he was with them as the drummer from 99 to 2002. Then he died. Then they brought in Samantha Maloney, also a great drummer. She was there from 02 to 04. And then when they had their reunion / final tour thing, Tommy Lee was back. And really, to me, it's Tommy. Well, I forgot one person too. So there's also John 5. So in 2008, John 5 replaced Mick Mars, but it was more for health reasons. Mick Mars has this weird, it's not weird, but he has this affliction. It's kind of like a really bad arthritis, and then he cannot really play guitar anymore, especially not as solos. He was really a good guitarist, anyways. So that's kind of sad. But they brought in John Five for their guitarist since 2008. And technically they're broken up, but I have a feeling they might get back together one more time. Who knows? We'll see. They might have already done it, and I just didn't get the news because Motley Crue didn't. I'm not on their phone list. I'm not on their phone. They don't call me and go, "Hey, Mark, we're getting back together. Just thought you should know because you're our friend, and we want you to know first." No. Anyway, and so to me, I mean, Motley Crue is Tommy Lee on drums, Mick Mars on lead guitar, Nikki Sixx on bass, and then Vince Neil on vocals, and then some other people did vocals too. And then I really love bands where the bass player is the main songwriter and the head dude. And we've covered some bands like that, but Motley Crue, Nikki Sixx. Nikki Sixx is the man. I think he wrote every song in this album with maybe a little help from his friends on maybe 2 tracks. But this is also like an autobiography. Like we said, he almost died from an overdose. So he'll be the last guy I do a quote from. I'm going to do a quote from each of those 4 members. And I'll start with who I think was the lesser in the band. Not that they're lesser, but as far as the band members go, influence for their sound and that kind of stuff. Now, in concert, Tommy Lee really run him home. He did the upside down drum solo, which is amazing to see. Yeah, and he has some quotes about that. So I'm going to do Tommy Lee first, then Mick Mars, and then Vince Neil, and then Nikki, ending with Nikki Sixx. Anyway, so hey, Lisa in the house still, and so is Wayne and a couple others. So if you haven't spoke up, post something in the chat, and so we can talk. Anyway, so we'll get to the first quote. So the first quote is from Tommy Lee, and you think, this dude's crazy, what happened to him? And this quote is longer, but I didn't want to put the whole thing in. But anyways, he said, "My father lived by the philosophy, be yourself because everyone else is taken." And he made sure I did that too. And if you look at interviews and just see Tommy Lee's book and stuff, and he talks about his dad and how his dad, he had a really supportive dad. So anything he wanted to do, I want to be a drummer. Okay, let's support you. I want to be in marching band. Okay, be in marching band. He supported him. His dad would support him in anything. So it sounds like he had a really cool dad, and he has that philosophy of be yourself because everyone else is taken. Totally agree with that. And the life hack we can get from that, because we're talking about tune into life. We're talking about Dr. Feelgood by Motley Crue, the song Kickstart My Heart, and we're looking for the life hacks that we can learn how to compose our life like a symphony. So from that quote, we can glean the life hack. Number 1 is living life on your own terms leads to success, fulfillment, and your true voice. And yes, before anyone gets sarcastic, I know I accidentally added an S to fulfillments, but I meant fulfillment. So you got to just be yourself, and you're the only person that knows you. No one can tell you who you are. Yeah, you can go to a therapist and kind of do a back and forth and get help. And by the way, I was a therapist for 4.5 years. And then I got out of it because it was just, not that it was too difficult, but I don't know if you know this, most psychotherapists have their own therapist, and it's like a standard best practice to go to, as a therapist, you take stuff on and you're trying to help your clients, and your clients have problems, and sometimes they're horrendous. I mean, I specialize in sexually abused children, so it's always horrendous. The situation my patients were in it was just horrible. Anyways, so I would go to a therapist and try to get all this gunk off of me. It's like, Mark, you not feel good. Okay, so anyways, it sounds, I mean, you look at Tommy Lee and you go, wow, that guy's a little psycho. But no, he had a really supportive father, and his father had that philosophy. So it's a really great philosophy. And so, yeah, I know I had an S, so give me a break. Living life on your own terms leads to success, fulfillment, and your true voice. And if you know one thing about me, that one thing is, I think everybody has a voice. They got to find their voice. They got to release their creative crack. And I know you can only see the beginning, top of it, but I don't want to feel like studying up because I got shorts on. Yes, that's right. I have a suit, a t-shirt, a hat, and shorts. And so we're not going to see the shorts, okay? Yeah, that's the big Zoom thing. You wear weird things and then people don't know. It's like, is he wearing shorts? Yes, I am. Okay, so anyway, we'll get to the second quote, and it's by Mick Mars, the oldest member by a decade or so, shall we say. I just play with my feel, with my soul, with my heart, and I put everything into it. And if you know a second thing about me, as you see, my main instrument is guitar. I also have a bass. I got keyboards. I sing. I mean, my vocal microphone's over there. So I would take feel over technique every day. And like I think I said it last time I did was for Jimi Hendrix Experience. I said you can't get to be a good feel musician without learning technique first. So the best feel musicians, no technique, but they practice so much that it's just instantiated them. It's like second nature. It's like, oh yeah, I know cards. Oh yes, I know the Ionian mode and how to solo within that. And yes, I know key changes and I know all these chords and arpeggios and all this kind of stuff and how to do a hammer-on, how to do a pull-off, and how to do a mute. I know all these things and I practice them and I get them down. And then you just let the music take you over. So like when you're in concert or even when you're playing in a studio, just let the feeling and your soul and your heart just take over. Let the music just take you over, and then you feel musician. Like anyone who says Santana is not a very good technical guitarist doesn't know what they're talking about. One of the things I love about Santana, and that's why I have that third guitar. That's a Gibson SG. It's my first electric guitar. I got it because Santana is one of the best feel guitarists on the face of the planet. He can say more with one note, just bending that note and holding it for like a minute or whatever, than some people can do like in those seconds with hundreds of notes. And anyways, Mick Mars is one of my favorite guitarists. Unfortunately, he has that disease and he can't really play guitar that much anymore. But yeah, that's what I liked about him. He was feel. He went with the moment. He let the music overtake him, and then it came out through his heart and soul and through his axe, as we say in the biz. So what is the life hack we can learn from that? Life is not a dress rehearsal. Play every day with your heart and with your soul. Too many people in this life live a squashed life, like a little squashed bug. They go through life and they just live it half-assed, or they allow other people to tell them how they're supposed to live, or they live someone else, or they're in a toxic environment and it just squashes them down. And they don't even know who they are. So if they don't know who they are, they can't live who they are, and we don't know who they are, and they won't have an impact because they're not living their life. They're not living in their passion. They're not living with their soul. They're not living in their heart. That's why I like feel musician. That's why I like Mick Mars. And by the way, Wayne was talking about, so there's this new movie, I think it's on Netflix, it's called The Dirt, and it's about Motley Crue and how they came up. And so I was just commenting in the comments. Hey, I was commenting in the comments. What a good use of comments to be commenting in them, because that's where your comment is, in the comments. And how many times can I say comment? Am I getting paid $1 for every time I say comment? Well, I would like to comment that. No, I'm not. I just felt like saying that. Anyway, so in The Dirt, there's a bunch of things where they take license to make it more interesting, and it really didn't happen that way. So like one of the things in the film is their first gig in the Whiskey a Go-Go. There's like 6 people in the audience, and Vince Neil gets in a fight, and blah, 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 blah. He may have gotten in a fight, but all of them were popular before Motley Crue came around. So the audience I think it was packed. So there was like 600 plus people, because all of them were already known and well known. If you were LA in the music scene at the time, LA had a cool music scene, and it was like very cultish, and people go, we got to go see Anti-Rocks. Oh, we got to go see all these people, LA Guns. And yeah, and they would go see them. And yes, so Motley Crue, even though the band wasn't around that long, all the people in it were well known. Like Nikki Sixx was almost near rock god status when Motley Crue started. There's a bunch of bands, and he was the primary songwriter. And people were like, hey, this kid knows what he's doing. Yeah, so just live your life on your own terms, and then you'll have success. So now we're going to get to Vince, the blonde front man, the wild man, the man who said, he had one quote, I wish I could remember it perfectly. Apparently he has a lot of plastic surgery, and I'm really bad at that. So, I mean, I could look at someone who's like in the extreme and go, oh, I don't think they've had plastic surgery. But Vince Neil had some plastic surgery. I didn't know it, but he was almost like Joan Rivers. He said, I've had so much plastic surgery. Sometimes I walk by a mirror, I look in and I go, hey, who the hell's that guy? Anyway, so, but that's not the quote I'm going to use from Vince Neil. So this time It's like you may have crap that wants to drag you down, but if you really like what you're doing, then there's always a silver lining. Ozzy snorting ants. Oh, you know what? One of the musicians, who was it? Was it John 5? That's where she, either Samantha Maloney or Randy Castillo. So Randy Castillo is the drummer from 99 to 2002. He played for Ozzy in Ozzy's early days. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. So I kind of lost track. So I did Vince Neil. I'm going to do it again. You may have crap that wants to drag you down, but if you really like what you're doing, then there's always a silver lining. And I got to say, I like Vince Neil. His first solo album is one of my favorite hard rock albums. I think it's called Exposed. It's got a great cover. It's pretty cool. And he also sang most of the vocals. Not most. I'd say like a third of the vocals maybe on Steve Stevens' The Atomic Playboys album. Oh, that's such a good album. Yeah, some of it's schlocky and it's like, no, that's 80s crap hard rock. It's like, you know what? I love 80s hard rock. And if you want to call it crap, that's your prerogative. But holy crap. Rat, Warrant, I love them all. Anyway, so what do we learn? What's that life hack that we glean from Vince Neil's thing about crap, and that there's always a silver lining if you do what you like? Focus on the things you like doing, who you like being, and no amount of crap can bring you down. That is why you want to get to know yourself, who you are, where's your heart, where's your soul, what's your feeling, what is your passion, and finding your voice. Because when you do that, life's not going to be easier, but it's going to be simpler because you're going to know what your passion is. And you can live your life in that passion. And then you feel success. And no matter what life throws you, and life's going to throw crap at you. Life always throws crap. We all have crap. Even the richest man on the face of the planet faces crap. But when you know what you're about, you know what your passion is, you get in touch with your feelings, your soul, your heart, and you live your passion. Doesn't matter how much crap you have. There was I don't know if it was a parable. I guess I'll call it a parable. But there was these twins, and they had a rich father, and the father wanted to teach them a lesson in humility, and that the world's not all materialistic. And so what he did is I don't think they're a Christian, but I don't remember what holiday they're celebrating. So let's just say they're Christian. And for Christmas Day, they had separate bedrooms, but basically the Christmas present was a pile of pony poop. That's right, pony shit. It was a pile of pony shit. And so there was one twin was kind of like Eeyore, and actually I like Eeyore, so I'm not going to compare him to Eeyore. But one twin was gloomy and everything was wrong, and any little piece that threw him off life or whatever, I'm a victim, this happened to me, blah, blah, blah. And so all he saw was a pile of shit, and he hated it. He thought it was the worst present ever. Now and I'm not recommending this is like a Pollyanna, where is this kid on drugs or something? I don't know. Anyways, he looked at the pile of poop and he's like, holy moly, I got a pile of pony poop. And then he just like ran all around the house, all around their yard, just looking. And it's like, what is this kid looking for? And he's just excited as all get out. And blah, blah. And so finally, the mom asked him, was like, what are you so excited about? You got a pile of pony poop for Christmas. And he goes, if I got a pile of pony poop, there's got to be a pony around here somewhere. See, he looked at the positive. He's like, oh, yeah, there's a bunch of shit. But you know what shit means? It means an animal that did that. And I would love having a pony. So that's kind of like, I like that story. Anyway, so that's like, life is not a dress rehearsal. Play every day with your heart and your soul. So I know, for my friends in the Beast Club and other things that I'm a member of, sometimes in the past year, I've been kind of a gloomy Gus. And I apologize for that. But I will come back stronger, and life's okay. You just got to get in touch with my passion. I gotta, unfortunately, made some choices in my past where I gotta, pay some bills, as they say. So I just finished paying off Uncle Sam, IRS, and so now there's a few more I have to pay. And once I pay those down, then I will get back to my side hustle. Yes, technically this is part of my side hustle, but I don't get paid anything for tuning my life. This is a passion of mine. I love music. I love being positive. I love finding, looking behind the story and learning from people. One of my favorite things is reading autobiographies Biographies are okay, but autobiographies are better because most of the time it's in that person's voice. And you just learn from that person. It's like, wow, how did they become so successful? And almost every time it boils down to getting in touch with your passion, your heart, your soul, and living your life as yourself. Not being somebody else, but going, hey, you know what? I really like this. I really like teaching people about IT, so that's what I'll do. You know, I don't knock people. Everybody likes different things. So, yeah, be yourself, living your life. And then for my favorite quote, only because it's from Nikki Sixx, to me, who is the essence of Motley Crue. He wrote most of their songs. He's one of the co-founders. He's the one who gave Mick Mars no shit because Mick Mars was an old fogey. Also, that's another thing too. Like a lot of people think since Mick Mars was like a decade older than the rest of the guys, he didn't really party, he didn't do the girl thing. He did all that stuff. He was just mellower and more private about it. But he did drugs, he did alcohol, and all that kind of stuff. So, but a shout out to Mick Mars. He's a great guitarist, and he's experienced some physical things where he can't play with the band anymore. But yeah, good for him, man. He's a great guitarist. So here's Nikki Sixx. So reflecting back, we all make mistakes. We all go through our stuff, relationships, financial, all kinds of stuff. And if you can grow from that and then pass the message on, it's pretty cool. So just think about that. He's talking about making mistakes, but he's talking about having success through those mistakes. And then as a edict or a responsibility of someone who has been successful to go back to other people and kind of, hey, yeah, I made a mistake. Hey, I almost died and did a bunch of drugs. So I'm not going to be on my high horse and go, don't do drugs. But I'm just going to say, here's a possibility. You might end your life sooner than it needs to end. So you might want to think about it. So, so I'm just think about that. I think all of us that have any success, that's why I want people to tell their story. Live your best life creates a better life for everyone. I truly believe that. And the only way you can live your best life is to know your passion, to know your heart, to know your soul, and to live in that. And part of living in that, you will be successful, but you're going to have mistakes, and life's going to punch you on the right, punch you on the left. I don't even know if we got those because it's a reverse angle thing. Anyway, so they punch you on the left, punch you on the right, punch you on the left, and then it might knock you down, but you get back up. And when you know your passion, it's easier to get back up. You might be hurting, but you're striving toward something. You're creating something in your life. You're building your passion. You're feeding your passion. You're feeding creativity, and it's awesome. So that the life hack that leads to, am I seeing the new comments? Blah, 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 blah. Everyone will turn to the right direction and keep fighting the good fight. They toured the summer with Poison, Def Leppard, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, yeah, I saw the one about Ozzy. That was like the last one I read. So I was going to put, all right, I got it. So here's, oh, by the way, here, I'll come back on camera for a second. Sorry, I forgot I was up. Yeah, Wayne's going, are you seeing the new comments? And then I commented on the old comments. He's like, are you seeing the new comments? And I bet you anything, he's going to do it one more time. Are you seeing the new comments, Mark? Anyway, so let's get back to the life hack. We all make mistakes. It is how we handle them that makes us a success or not. And it's how we share what we learn that makes us a leader or not. I wholeheartedly believe in that. So let's quickly review the 4. Come on, Wayne, do it one more time. Are you seeing the newer comments, Mark? That's just something that'd be, oh, that's so Wayne. Laser pointer, yeah. Wayne is my laser pointer and I'm the cat, even though I don't like cats. But so the life hacks you can take from the story behind Kickstart My Heart, from Dr. Feelgood, from Motley Crue. The Crue is living life on your own terms leads to success, fulfillment, and your true voice. Life is not a dress rehearsal. Play every day with your heart and soul and focus on things you like doing, who you like being, and no amount of crap can bring you down. And with all that, we all make mistakes. It's how we handle them that makes us a success or not. And it is how we share what we learn that makes us a leader or not. So be a leader, get in touch with your passion, share your voice, live your life. living your best life creates a better life for everyone. I want to thank you all for coming. Wayne's going to be my guest host at some point. I haven't decided who I'm going to do. I might do Bon Jovi or Poison, or I haven't decided yet. So, but as soon as I do, I will contact Wayne, see if he wants to co-host. Yeah, I wish he would have co-hosted this one, but I just didn't have my act together soon enough to tell him, and it's not fair to him. Hey, Wayne, I'm doing Motley Crue. You want to be on in 5 minutes? Anyway, thank you all for coming. I had a great time. I'm going to do the outro where we talk about my fair use of copyrighted material, which doesn't seem to work for YouTube, LinkedIn, or Facebook, because I have to challenge them every time, because the copyright holder will challenge my use of it, and then they'll take it down, and then I'll go, it was for the purposes of education. I gave them credit with copyright, and I am following the rules of fair use. So we'll see how that goes. Anyways, I will see you all next week. 80s hair bands to continue. And remember, kickstart your heart. Booyah!